get it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. I'm your guys' host, Zach SchuZ Schumaker. Hope you guys are having a blessed Thursday. Now, maybe it could be Friday, depending on where you guys are tuning in. But I've got a lot to get into on today's show, and there's not going to be a guest. We did have a guest planned. I know I even posted it, but with Brian Acosta, he should hopefully be coming on the show potentially next week. But things ended up happening where he was not able to come on today. However, I'll be previewing his fight tonight. I'll be giving you guys an update on that. And so we'll get right into it, though. But tomorrow, I do have another guest to wrap up the week. It's going to be a very special guest. Let me just say that. And so I will be announcing who it will be tomorrow morning. Hopefully, you guys will all be tuning in for that because you guys are not going to want to miss who I will be having on the show tomorrow to wrap up the week. But we've got some stuff to get into. Before I get into it, though, make sure to leave any stuff in the chat that you guys want me to discuss, whether that be topics, that be questions, or even disagreements. Put in the chat, and I'll make sure to address as I go throughout tonight's show. Let's get into it, though, because we have a fight recap, we have fight previews, and then some boxing news. Let's get right to it, folks. Fight recap. Iglesias Shishkin went down. They had a fight tonight in Canada. And let me just say this. The two main attractive fights that I talked about and previewed on yesterday's show, they both did not disappoint. Iglesias, he defeated Vladimir Shishkin by TKO in the 8th round, but this was an absolutely dominant performance. You could probably say he won every single round. I don't think you could make much of a disagreement on that standpoint. He dominated throughout the entire fight. And obviously, I said on yesterday's show, why was Shishkin even in this opportunity? I don't know. He fought for world championship, then he goes right to a title eliminator. It made no sense to me whatsoever. But it is what it is. Iglesias made his mark. He is now the IBF super middleweight title final eliminator, meaning that he will now be the official mandatory challenger for the winner of Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford going down 1 week from Saturday on September 13th. He will now be the mandatory there for the IBF belt. So that's what we now have in fake performance. He made a statement. Now, do I think he's ready for a Terrence Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez? Probably not. Do I think that fight would happen anyways? Also probably not. He probably is another fight or two away, tuning up. He's got a little bit of stuff to work on still, I'd say, until he's ready for that level of fighting. But still, nonetheless, a very impressive performance tonight. Another guy on the undercard, Orabio, he fought Ivan Basurto, who was on a late replacement, I should say, fill-in fight, and Orabio won by a 5th round TKO. This is a man that I'm very high on. He is somebody to keep your eyes on. I like what he brings to the table. I think he's a very talented young fighter. He is somebody that we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Like I said, he continues to dominate. Got another KO tonight. He is somebody that is very intriguing, a very good-looking prospect, and we'll see how I'm very excited to see how he continues to develop. As for our fight preview, though, we've got some fights going down on a Friday. I know over the past few weeks, we've not really had too many fights to break down. Now this week, we got Friday talk. We had Thursday to talk about, Friday talk about, some stuff going down on Saturday. And then we get into the massive week of next weekend, September 13th, Canelo Bud Crawford week. So that's going to be a lot. But let's get into what we got tomorrow. Michael Conlan, Jack Batson, featherweight main event in Dublin, Ireland. Conlan returns to Ireland for the first time as a pro, headlining in Dublin, Ireland, with his career on the line. Batson sees this as a breakout moment. For Conlan, 19-3 with his record. He's a bronze medalist in the Olympics, while Batson's 21-1. He is a former Team GB standout, unbeaten in his last 5. How do I see this fight going down? It's going to be very interesting. I'm actually a little bit intrigued by it because when you look at Conlan, obviously he's a high volume, slick movement, vulnerable late, but Batson, compact, patient, sharp counters. At the end of the day, we know this about these two guys. For Conlan, he's a solid fighter. He's had good moments in his career. When it comes to this performance, this is really going to be his last shot. Obviously, he can always come back and fight, whatever. But if we're talking about him building himself up to be at a high level in the future, this is going to be that fight that he's going to have to go out there and win. As for Jack Batson, obviously not an as high-stakes situation for himself, but still, this is going to be a situation where he's going to have to go out there and win this fight. He's going to have to go put on a performance and have a good outcome. I think that Conlan has a chance to come out and edge this fight out by decision throughout the 10-round duration of this fight. We'll see what's unfolding. I do see it neck and neck, but we'll give Conlan the edge in this one. The co-main event features Charlie Edwards and Salvador Juarez, who will be fighting a super flyweight co-main event for the WBC international title. Edwards, the former WBC flyweight champion, he looks for redemption from a split loss. Juarez is a rugged Mexican veteran with upset potential. Obviously, the favorite in this fight is Charlie Edwards. That's who I'm going to have win this fight. I think he's going to win by unanimous decision in this fight. I think he's too sharp for this performance. I think he will come back and have a great performance here tomorrow in this fight. But don't get it wrong. We have seen countless guys come over from Mexico into the UK and pull off massive upsets. Could we see it again tomorrow? It would not shock me. It's certainly on the table, but I will favor Charlie Edwards in this fight. Going stateside in America, Pro Box TV has a fight going down tomorrow, headlining by Jordan White and Renee Tellez Yaron. The NABF lightweight title will be on the line. Jordan White is a very underrated fighter. He's not a big name yet. Still, people are learning his name. But if you know boxing, you have likely seen him fight. I think he's a very talented fighter at 19-1 with 12 KOs. He's on a 15-fight win streak. This is the man I favor going into this fight. We've seen Renee Tellez-Garon have solid performances. We know he gives young guys a test. He's a good journeyman in a certain sense, just a guy to go through in those situations. But Jordan White, I feel like this will be his moment. He should make a standout moment in his performance. And I think that we're going to be able to look at him and he's going to have a breakout moment on tomorrow night. The co-main event is the most intriguing one, though. Solomon Seguwa will be fighting Brian Acosta, a featherweight co-main event. Remember, Brian Acosta fought earlier this year against Ramon Cardenas. He lost to Ramon Cardenas, who went on to fight Inoue, and the rest is history there. However, Brian Acosta is still a very good fighter. This is a man that's been accomplished. He's done good things. He's a good fighter, but he's going up against a man in Seguwa who you could make a very good case should have beat Bruce Carrington. Now, Bruce Carrington edged out the win there. Very controversial. People thought that Seguwa could have won that fight. It was a very close fight, so I'm not going to say it was a robbery, but still, he put on a great performance against one of the best guys at all of 126. This guy's no joke. He's ranked inside the top 15 for a reason, and I think this is going to be an interesting performance because also throw in there for Brian Acosta, he went down to 122 when he fought Ramon Cardenas, and he lost, which is his only loss of his entire career. He's now back up at 126. So this, in my opinion, is going to be the most intriguing fight of the evening. I think this will be a solid fight between these two guys. I go back and forth with it. I honestly do think that we're going to see Seguwa win this fight just because of how well he did look in his fight against Bruce Carrington. However, this is a man that has lost 5 times with 1 draw in his career. He's not a knockout artist to any extent, but nor is Brian Acosta. Both guys have the majority of their wins coming by decision. So this fight, you can pretty much pencil it in. It's going to be through decision. I think it could be by split decision, to be honest. I think it's going to be neck and neck, but I will give the edge here to Seguwa, though, like I said, Acosta has a chance at winning this fight as well. And the other notable one is Scooter Davis is returning to the ring tomorrow night. This is huge. Listen, I am someone that's very high on Scooter Davis. I think when you talk about the total package, now he still has a lot to prove for himself in the ring. Obviously, I know that. I'm not going to give him the reins to say he's the next great prospect in all American boxing. However, what he does do in the ring is spectacular. And you have to look at it specifically in today's era of boxing. You have to look at guys that know how to brand themselves, market themselves, and can do all those different aspects. He can do that. He is a knockout artist. He's a very entertaining guy. He's constantly in the media. He is a guy that knows how to build himself and his brand at the same time. And on top of that, when you talk about what he gets done in the ring, he's a phenomenal fighter. He is something that I'm very excited about, and it blows my mind. It honestly is baffling that he has not been signed to a long-term promotional contract. Whether that be Matchroom, Top Rank, Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy, whatever it is. This is a man that should be signed to a contract right now. He's bouncing around from one promotional company to the other, already fought cards like PBC, Top Rank, Pro Box, so on and so forth. This man deserves to be signed to a contract. He likely will go out there and prove it once again tomorrow. This is one of the most entertaining prospects in all boxing, in my opinion. Let's get into some boxing news. I'm leaving the main one for last, all right? If y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll be getting this show wrapped up with that one. It is a massive thing. I've got a lot of things to say about that, but I'm going to give you guys some of the boxing news, and you guys are going to hear my thoughts on the news that came out today. So let's get into it. Tenshin versus Takuma, it will be going down in November. Tenshin Nasukawa and Takuma Inoue are in the final stages of negotiations for a fight for the vacant WBC bantamweight title in November. Live on Prime Video in Japan with an official announcement expected this month. This comes from Yahoo Japan. This is exciting. I like both these guys. As I've said, for Tenshin Nasukawa, this is a man that I think is being built rapidly. He's a former kickboxer, all right? He's a man that's been well known and documented for what he brings to the ring in kickboxing. He made the transition to boxing and is rapidly progressing. This is a man that is going out there and taking big fight after big fight, building himself up really quickly to where we're already discussing that maybe in 12 to 18 months, there's a chance that we have a fight with Inoue. That in and of itself is shocking. This man is at rapid increase right now in terms of popularity, what he brings to the ring, and he is somebody that I think everybody should be starting to get knowing and very familiar with. Because he is going to be the next Japan superstar. And he's going to have a chance to prove that against Takuma Inoue, which I think will be a phenomenal fight. A big jump up, big step up for honestly, for Nasukawa, but Very exciting fight there. We'll see what ends up unfolding if it does get finalized when it ends up happening in Japan in November. Canelo Alvarez's last opponent, William Scull, is in negotiations to face Callum Simpson on December 5th in the UK. All right. We all knew this day was going to happen, right? We all knew William Scull was going to have a chance to come back in boxing in some way, shape, or form. Here's his opportunity against Callum Simpson. Listen, William Scull lost all fans that night when he fought Canelo Alvarez. One of the most pitiful world championship fights we've ever seen. And the crazy thing is that that's on the back end of a horrible world championship fight in which he won the belt. Very horrible fights. And so for William Scull, this is a man that's not very entertaining to watch. We watched him get in a massive, the biggest opportunity you can have in boxing, go fight Canelo Alvarez. And he just went through the 12 rounds. Absolutely embarrassing. I don't think anybody wants to watch him fight. However, him lining up a fight to go against Callum Simpson is solid. For Callum Simpson, he's continuing to work his way up. This could be a phenomenal name on your resume, or it could be a massive, massive error where you lose to a guy in William Scull, who, yes, was a world champion, but is not respected by many people. I think most boxing fans will be rooting for Callum Simpson in this fight. However, I think it's an interesting fight for December 5th in the UK. We'll see if it ends up unfolding, though. Josh Kelly, Bakhram Murtazaliev will take place on December 13th in Manchester. All right. Much props to Josh Kelly for taking this fight. This is the one that I know he wanted. He was been targeting a big fight, and instead of just building himself up with another solid name, a guy in the top 15, he's going right from fighting pretty much nobodies to going all the way up and fighting Bakhram Murtazaliev, who you could make the case is the most feared man in all of 154 right now, especially if you exclude Terrence Bud Crawford, who I doubt will ever fight there again. This is a big step up. He will have the home field or the home advantage by fighting in Manchester. So that's going to be on his side. But still, massive props for taking this fight. And for Bakhram Murtazaliev, he finally gets that fight. Not a mega name, not a big fight, not none of those things that he probably wanted. But he gets a fight. We have not seen him fight since October of last year, in which he completely dismantled Tim Tszyu in that fight. So for Bakhram, it's going to be good to have him back in the ring. We've all been wanting to see him. It's been a disappointment not seeing him in the ring. Now he gets his opponent, Josh Kelly, Manchester, December 13th. I'm looking forward to it. Last two big topics I want to diverge on as we get into this ending of the show now. And remember, if you guys have any things for me to discuss, leave it in the chat. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Go into any topics you guys have for me. Leave it in the chat, and I will address that throughout the show. Also, your comment will probably pop up on the show on the screen as well. So let's get into it, though. Vergil Ortiz has claimed that an offer was made to former undisputed 154-pound champion Jermell Charlo for a fight in Texas recently, but it was rejected. Jermell, you were just calling out all of these different guys. We saw all these different posts of you going with the Shark for Earl Spence. We saw you doing the boots for Bud Crawford. We saw you going Vergil Ortiz. We saw you doing Sebastian Fundora. We saw all these different posts just last week of him calling out all these guys as he's getting ready to come back in 154. And now we find out that you're rejecting a fight with Vergil Ortiz. Now, don't get me wrong. If you are Jermell Charlo, stepping up right back into the ring after about 2 years or whatever it's been outside of the ring and fighting Vergil Ortiz would be a very risky decision to make. The Earl Spence one makes a little bit more sense because Earl Spence has been outside the ring as well for that same time span. But, come on now. You can't be going out there calling out all these guys, making social media posts, and yet you're going to be rejecting these fights behind the scenes. And I don't blame you. If you want to build yourself up with a tune-up fight, go ahead. But don't be going out here calling these guys out and not taking it. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest. Vergil Ortiz, Jermell Charlo would do massive numbers in Texas. Absolutely massive. The payday would have been there for Jermell Charlo. And if you want to get yourself back on the scene with a mega statement win, that's Vergil Ortiz. You know, Vergil Ortiz is not a world champion right now, but he's that guy that I think everybody looks at and says, we know he's going to be world champion at 154. This is that guy. He's an elite fighter. We all know who he is. That's how most people perceive him. So if you're Jermell Charlo, this was your big fight. This was a big statement potential win for yourself. And the money was certainly going to be there for you to fight at home in Texas. So when you are Jermell Charlo and you turn this fight down after calling out Vergil Ortiz and pretty much all of the guys at 154, it's not a very good look. It's not. I don't blame him for wanting a tune-up fight, whatever he's going to end up doing, but don't be calling guys out now if in return, all you're going to be doing is turning these fights down. Because Vergil Ortiz, Jermell Charlo would have sold great. And I know a lot of boxing fans would have loved to see that fight. However, Jermell Charlo rejected it. Who knows when Jermell Charlo will get back in the ring? Only time will tell. As I said, though, I've got one final thing to get into on today's show. It's the news. I think you guys probably know what I'm referring to. And if you do not know, it is this. Listen, I can't believe I'm even going to say this right now. Mike Tyson will face Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition boxing match in the spring of 2026. Both sides have already signed the contract as of tonight. All right, let me rephrase. I'm going to say that one more time just because this is 2026. Actually, we're September 4th, 2026. And listen, this is the news. Mike Tyson will face Floyd Mayweather Jr. in an exhibition boxing match in the spring of 2026, where both guys have already signed this contract, so this fight is going to happen. Just when you thought boxing couldn't get any more bizarre, just when you thought boxing was already the most chaotic, unorganized sport in all the world, it found a way to step it up even a little bit more. Because now we've got Mike Tyson, who did not look good against Jake Paul. He's coming back to fight again, about 18 months or so removed from his last time he was in the ring against Jake Paul. And then you have Floyd Mayweather, who's not the youngest man himself, but in comparison to Mike Tyson, obviously he's a very young guy, he's going to be returning to the ring to fight as well for an exhibition fight. We're talking about two of the biggest names in all boxing, though. When you talk about, not even boxing, actually, you're talking about two of the biggest names in all sports. These are two icons of American athletics. Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, one was a heavyweight. One was a guy that fought at 140, 147, all these different weight classes. Obviously, there's a big weight class difference between the two of them. But guess what? In 2026, at this point in time, we're going to have these two guys at who knows what weight class Floyd Mayweather will typically weigh in at for this fight. We'll be fighting Mike Tyson, who will be in his heavyweight weight. And these two guys were stepping foot in the ring, two American icons, to fight it out. Yeah. In case you were wondering, there is no sport in the world that is more unorganized, more chaotic, and more bizarre than boxing. Because guess what? We're going to have two guys, albeit two icons, returning back to the ring. Now, let me just be honest with you guys real quickly as I elaborate on this. This fight will sell massively. As I just said, you're going to get such a massive audience here. Is it going to be a good fight? Absolutely not. It's going to be absolutely dog water. Mike Tyson can hardly move. He might give you a couple bursts for the first round or two. He's fried. We know that already. All due respect, we love Mike Tyson, but he's up there in age. And Floyd Mayweather's nowhere near prime Floyd, but obviously he's still probably got something. However, the weight difference will be massive in this fight. But throw all that stuff out. If you are a true boxing fan, you're not going to want to watch this fight. Overall, just in terms of the standpoint of it's not going to be a good fight. We all know that. You're not going to watch this for a good, entertaining fight. Both guys are far removed from prime selves. Mike Tyson's like 4 stages removed from prime. However, these are two icons. When you talk about the Mount Rushmores, some of the top 10, 5, 10, 15, 20 greatest athletes, greatest American athletes specifically, but probably greatest athletes of all time, Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson are both up there. Both guys have exceeded incredible net worths. Both guys are legitimate icons of boxing, but of sports as a whole. And when you look at the promotion picture that was released today, where you had half the picture was Floyd Mayweather, half of it was Mike Tyson's face, your friends that just don't know boxing, that don't know combat sports, that have no idea what weight classes are, that don't understand any of that stuff, they're going to look at that and say, I know that guy, and I know that guy. I've seen videos of them all the time. I've seen motivational speeches. I know who those two guys are. I'm going to watch that. This fight is going to capture the attention span of pretty much all of America. When you talk about even the Jake Paul aspect, think about how big that fight was. Jake Paul was known around the world, around the country because of social media. This is two guys that everybody knows what they've done in the sport. They know that when you think about the name Mike Tyson, you think about the name Floyd Mayweather, it doesn't matter who it is that you talk to. It could be your mom, it could be anybody. They're going to have an idea of who those two people are. That's how famous they are. So when you talk about these two guys stepping foot in the ring, is it going to be a good fight? Absolutely not. It's going to be hilarious though. However, this is going to be a fight that's going to capture a massive audience. I don't believe, the exact TV channel that's going to be placed on is not yet announced who has the TV rights to it. I would not be surprised if Netflix picks it up, but only time will tell. But whoever going to have the TV rights to this deal, the broadcasting rights, it's going to be in massive numbers. Probably will be within the top 5 to 10 viewership things in all of America in 2026. That's just my personal guess. It's probably going to be somewhere in that between. Obviously, you have the Super Bowl, you have some of those big things. This is going to be up there. It's going to be talked about. People are going to want to see it. And for that, I'll say this. It's good for the sport. And I'm not too concerned about it from this standpoint. When you talk with Jake Paul, this was a 28-year-old man fighting a 60-year-old man. That was messed up. In this situation, Floyd Mayweather is not going to be a man that's going to hurt Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson, we saw what he looks like. He's not going to really hurt Floyd. Maybe he does, but I doubt it. But when you look at these two guys, it's going to be harmless. Nobody's probably going to get seriously hurt. I think we're going to see some funny stuff happen in that ring that night, and it is what it is. So enjoy the night. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's unique that it got made. It's an exhibition fight, not a big deal. We'll see what's unfolding there. But yes, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather Jr. will be fighting an exhibition match in the spring of 2026. The contracts have been signed, so it will be happening in 2026. All right, with that being said, I appreciate you guys all for tuning in today. I don't see any more comments in the comment section, so we'll be wrapping up today's show. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of you guys' night. I will be back live tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I've got a very special guest. As I said, I think a lot of people are going to want to hear who this person is, what he has to say. I will be announcing who it is in the morning, so make sure to tune in tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'll see you guys there to wrap up this week's show. May God bless you guys all. Have a great rest of you guys' night, and I'll see you guys back here live tomorrow. God bless you guys. And with that being said, SchuZ out.